All right, guys, so we're back with episode or video number 3. Miss Natasha is back. She's going to talk about nutrition now for gaining optimal performance. Now, this is something that I guess I should be learning from. I do a lot of fasting, as you guys know, and probably not the best thing to do when you're trying to train for such an endurance sport like this. So Natasha's going to go ahead and school us all.
Okay, so we're going to talk about nutrition while training, otherwise referred to as intrafueling. And it's really simple if you break it down into 3 things. Number 1 is how much should you be drinking per hour? How much sodium you should be taking? So that's obviously being lost through your sweat loss. And finally, how many carbs should I be taking and through what sources? So let's start at the top. How much should you specifically be drinking? And that depends on each person. And the only way you're gonna know is through a sweat test. How to do a sweat test is you first of all have to know what the temperature is, the humidity is. Mark that down and you weigh yourself before workout. You go work out, take note of what you drank during your workout, and then weigh yourself again afterwards. And based on that amount of sweat loss per pound, that's 16 ounces that you have now lost. Add back what you drank during that workout. And for most people, it's around 30 to 40 ounces that they're losing. The ideal amount to replenish per hour is around 75% of that. So that will give you the amount you need to drink in ounces per hour of training. And that's going to scale based on the temperature, because you should be doing this test at say 70 degrees, 80 degrees, 90 degrees, because triathlon is typically done in the summer and it's really hot. You need to know how to scale the amount you drink based on what the conditions are outside. Secondly, sweat test. Okay, most people severely underestimate how much sodium they are losing in their sweat. And unfortunately, the only way to know that is to do a lab test with it. And so there's so many companies out there that they'll literally send you a sweat patch kit where you put this patch on your arm, you do a workout for an hour, you send back that patch, and they test it in the lab to see how much sodium is in that patch through that hour. And what we actually have found is that most athletes lose between 1,000 and 2,000 milligrams of sodium per hour. And you need to be replacing all of that, because that's going to catch up to you in a race that's 12, 13, 14 hours long, which is the average time for an Ironman. An example of a product you can take is Element. This product has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, which is really high. You really can't find that amount of sodium. And the beauty of that is typically how much we're losing per hour. So pop one of these in your water bottle per hour. You've taken care of your sodium needs. The final part is how much carbohydrates and what are the sources of what we're going to take. So that's also going to scale a little bit per the person. But what they've found in recent science is that 80 to 90 grams of carbohydrates per hour is the sweet spot for an endurance event. And what that looks like, the only way you can get to that is you have to know what your sources are from. And your stomach is maxed out at 60 grams of carbs per source of the way it gets transported to your stomach. So upon that, you have to divide it up and say, I'm going to take 60 grams from glucose and 30 grams, if you're trying to hit 90 grams, from fructose or maltodextrin. But the key thing is that you need to know what your sources are, calculate how many carbohydrates you're getting from those sources, and then you have to train the gut, because this is a lot of carbohydrates. You have to train the gut to be able to handle that amount of carbohydrates for optimum performance. So break it down into 3, understand what the conditions are and what the needs are for you in particular, and then it ends up being pretty easy. So these recommendations are for the bike. And how it typically works is if you nail your cycling or your bike nutrition, you're gonna be good for the run. What most people do on the run is they then at that point fuel by feel. And what I recommend is a drip feed approach, where you're getting aid stations every single mile on the course. You just make sure to grab something that feels good to you at the moment. And then obviously, if it is really hot, you have to make sure to stay on top of the water, the Gatorade, electrolytes, etc. But for the most part, if you've really nailed your nutrition on the bike, you could work your way through the run without a very strict approach and take in about half to 3/4 of these numbers indicated below.
All right, so there you have it. There's your nutrition. Make sure that you lock in. There's 3 videos that you can utilize if you're looking to be a triathlete. Make sure you hit up Natasha. And again, Natasha, tell them where they can find you, Instagram, and the training, the coaching, everything else.
Perfect. So Instagram, it's just Natasha VDM81 is my personal, and then NVDM coaching as well. And then our website is nvdmcoaching.com.
Cool. Now, if you want to learn more about this stuff too as well, check out my mentorship program. Link is down in the description. And also maybe possibly we'll do a triathlon program together. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Hit the comments down below if you want to see that. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, notification, hit the like button. See you again next time. Peace.